fluorescent hum, and under it the smell of burnt gas station coffee. The same smell for 6 years running. Someone is holding the door shut from outside. A man in a gray hoodie stands between you and the parking lot, both hands buried in his pockets. Just enough to fix what's broken, he says, too calm for what his hands might be doing. Dale freezes behind the register. 6 years ago, you stood exactly here for a $2 ticket. Don't move yet. Rewind 6 years. None of this exists yet. Not the hoodie, not the door held shut, not the number that will replace your name in every room you walk in afterward. Right now, the forklift needs a new battery. The rent is 3 days late, and nobody in this story has said the word jackpot out loud yet. You want to know what one actually costs. Everyone thinks they do. By the end, you'll know exactly to the dollar and past it. $14.50 an hour on the forklift, third shift, a propane tank reading a quarter full on the porch behind you. Your sister Renn's boy Mateo spent Tuesday night in an ER bed wheezing, and insurance covers most of it. Not the $4,200 still sitting on a bill with your name on the cosign line. Rent is due Friday. So is the bill. Only one of them can actually wait. Every Friday for 6 years, one ticket, same 6 numbers, your father's birthday, backward, plus the one he always called lucky before the word stopped meaning anything to either of you. Dale rings it up without looking up from the register, the way he has 100 Fridays before this one. Exact change ready before you even reach the counter. The ticket rack glows red and gold behind him under a strip light that's buzzed since before either of you worked here. Odds don't care how bad you need it, kid. 2 a.m. The ticket photographed 4 times on your phone. In case the paper smudges, in case the dog gets to it, in case something you can't name, yet happens to a slip of paper worth checking on. The drawing isn't until tomorrow night. Therefore, none of this checking changes one single number. Count the digits again anyway. Sleep was never really the plan tonight. Not with 6 numbers doing laps behind your eyes. 7, 14, 19, 26, 44. The 5th ball is still spinning on a muted TV when your stomach drops out from under the rest of you. Powerball 8. Your hands don't move. That's the part that scares you, not the numbers matching the stillness after. The remote stays warm in your other hand. You never once think to set it down, and a studio audience on screen is cheering for a number they don't know yet is yours. Dale scans the ticket 4 times before the machine locks up and prints claim at lottery headquarters instead of a dollar figure. The whole store goes quiet around the sound of it. A stranger 3 feet away is filming you on his phone before you've said one word out loud. $412 million advertised, and you haven't claimed a single cent of it yet. Lottery headquarters has a security desk, a waiting room with better chairs than any DMV, and a clipboard asking one question first. Claim under your own name, public record forever, or through a trust and disappear from it. Half the states don't give you a choice at all. Yours does. Therefore, the first real decision of the rest of your life is whether anyone gets to know it was you. Priya has a coffee that costs $11 and tastes like nothing, and your $412 million on a whiteboard, cut down live in front of you. The lump sum option is 52% of that, before tax, $214 million. Federal withholding takes 24 points off the top. The real bracket takes 37. What's actually finally yours? About 1/3 of the number that made the news. You sign as a trust, not a name. Priya's idea. The one piece of advice out of this whole ordeal that costs you nothing later. The pen is heavier than a $2 ticket has any right to make you expect, and the notary stamps 3 separate pages without once looking up. Your hands don't shake, not yet. That's a fact worth remembering, plainly, without decoration. It won't stay true forever. Mateo's bill gets paid same day, wired gone. The smallest number in this whole story, and the only one that ever feels entirely, completely clean, no fine print attached anywhere. Renn gets a house outright. No mortgage, her name only on the deed, a spare room already painted for a nephew who doesn't need it yet. You quit the forklift job by text message, 5 words, and delete the app before anyone can reply. $118 million left, after the house, the debt, the gifts. Sunday dinner, twice the usual plates on the table. A cousin you haven't spoken to since a wedding asking, casually between bites, what's like now. Renn laughs a half second too fast at a joke that wasn't funny. Under the noise, a new kind of math is already starting. Who gets asked first, who gets asked twice, who never gets asked at all. A small gathering turns into a receiving line without anyone deciding it should. A former neighbor needs a truck payment covered. A church you visited twice want a wing named after you. 61 people have asked you for money this month alone. You know the exact number because you started keeping a list and hating yourself a little more with every new name added to it. Terrence texts from the old warehouse floor, 3 years since you last spoke a single word to each other. A fifth ticket, he says, from the Friday pool you all used to run before the layoffs, one nobody ever actually claimed. He doesn't ask outright. He just mentions it twice, 2 different ways, days apart. Don't answer either message. Some math doesn't add up no matter how many times you run in your head. A cousin of Renn's files first. A promised share claim built on a conversation nobody else remembers happening the way he describes it under oath. Your lawyer calls it nuisance litigation and tells you to expect 4 more before the year is out. He's right about the number. He's wrong about the word nuisance. Every one of them has a real, actual face you used to know. Priya has a fund, private, friends and family only, guaranteed returns typed in a font confident enough to make guaranteed look almost true. Your lawyer is in Denver this week, unreachable until Monday. You sign without him, once, because once feels harmless when you're this tired of reading fine print at midnight. Your hands don't shake signing it. That's the part you'll remember longest, later, once you understand exactly what it actually cost you. The statement arrives on a Tuesday, an envelope no different from any other, $71 million, gone into a fund that was never registered with anyone, anywhere, ever, under any name that checks out. Priya doesn't apologize on the call. She doesn't raise her voice either. The silence where an explanation should be sits there, unfilled, and is somehow the loudest part of the entire conversation. You signed every page yourself. A forensic accountant's office now. Corkboard, red string, 7 shell companies tracing back through 3 different holding names to a P.O. box in a state you've never once set foot in. He calls a common pattern a real phrase pulled from a real study about winners just like you, filed away somewhere as a footnote. Common doesn't make it cheaper. It just makes it less surprising, which turns out not to be the same thing as easier. 2 more lawsuits land before the forensic report is even finished being typed. A former friend, a contractor, both citing conversations that happened, technically, but not the way either of them is describing them now under oath in front of strangers. Legal fees eat faster than the fund ever did, month over month. $19 million left, on paper, most of it already spoken for by people who still have your old phone number. Renn stops answering on the 3rd call, then the 4th, then stops texting back even the single word she used to at least send. Her chair at Sunday, dinner stays empty 2 weeks running, then 3, then long enough that you stop setting a plate for it. Money buys the ER bill. Money buys the house. Money does not buy your sister trusting a single word you say about any of it anymore. The number everyone quotes, 70% of winners go broke, turns out to be a stat nobody can actually source. The organization it's always credited to says on the record it never produced it. The real study is quieter. Modest winners, already drowning before the ticket, file for bankruptcy at a higher rate within 3 to 5 years. Winning didn't fix the hole. It just made the hole big enough to be a headline. You show up at Renn's door unannounced. No lawyer, no check, no envelope of any kind. Just you hands empty for the first time in over a year. She lets you as far as the porch, not the kitchen, and that's further than the last 3 weeks got you combined. Mateo waves once from the window behind her. Therefore, it isn't nothing. It just isn't fixed yet either, and you don't try to make it sound like more than it is. New counsel this time, a fiduciary by law, not by favor. Someone whose entire fee structure depends on you staying rich long-term, not on you feeling flattered this quarter. Therefore, the first thing she does, day 1, is fire 3 people who were never actually working for you to begin with. It takes 11 full months just to get back to a number you can say out loud without flinching at it. A trust gets built the right way this time, walled off from your own signature, 3 separate approvals required for anything larger than a birthday check. Money for Mateo's college, for Renn's kids you haven't even met yet. Locked behind a door, even you can't open alone anymore. Own nothing, control everything. Your new lawyer repeats. The way people repeat a line, they've clearly said to 100 winners exactly like you before, and meant every time. The rebuild is boring on purpose. Index funds, 3 rental properties, a modest stake in a business you actually understand because you once ran one out of the back of a truck, the smell of diesel, still the most honest thing in the whole portfolio. $27 million, verified, diversified. Nothing about it interesting enough to make the news twice. It took years, real years, to learn how to want exactly that. A scholarship fund, Mateo's name on the first plaque, quietly, for kids with a bill like his and no cousin anywhere holding a winning ticket. Ribbon, scissors, a reporter asking what advice you'd give the next person whose numbers come up someday. There's a true answer, long about the hoodie, the counter, the smell of burnt coffee that never actually left you no matter how far you moved. You give a shorter one instead. A boat you use 4 days a year, alone more often than not, open water in every direction and nobody left out here to ask you for anything. Gulls, engine hum, salt on your lips instead of burnt coffee for once. The quiet is the most expensive thing you've ever actually bought, and the first one that's never once tried to sue you for it. The old warehouse floor still smells like diesel and cold concrete, exactly the way it did the last decade you clocked in here. Terrence nods once, doesn't smile, doesn't mention the fifth ticket out loud this time either. Just holds it there in the space between you, the way he has for years now. Some debts stay open on purpose. You let this one stay that way. The real number, the one that actually matters, was never the 27 million on the statement. It's the 3,100,000 you can touch without a trustee signature sitting next to yours. Everything else locked away for people who aren't you anymore. By your own design this time. On purpose, finally, after learning it the expensive way. The hoodie isn't reaching for a weapon, just his phone, a hospital bill, his daughter for $1,200, the exact number you used to owe once down to the cent. You recognize that particular kind of fear before he even finishes the sentence. Dale rings up 2 things this time. The bill, paid quiet, no fuss, and 1 more ticket for you. Same 6 numbers as always. The odds haven't changed. You have. Same numbers?